Hello and welcome. So this is going to be a very short video where I'm going to talk about the Cisco routers. So let's head over to the next slide, which is talking about the agenda, which is very short but yet powerful. We will talk about the router front and the rear, and then all the Cisco router products that we currently have. Okay, so just like the Cisco switch, the router also have some LED lights, but you can see not so much going on in the router. When the first time I saw or looked at the router, I was confused what this device is and what it do. Okay, but once you will understand the capabilities and the functionality of router, you will know that yeah, router even does not need the Ethernet ports as much as the switches does. Okay, so as you can see, this is the front of the router, how it looks like, and here it will be written the router series. What uh, type of router does it have? Okay, the version basically. Okay, and then it has some indicators like sys, act, and PoE. So as the name suggests, sys, it means it has to do with some system. So as it is mentioned here, the system LED indicates that the system or operating system of the router. Okay, so it will look into all the post kind of things, power on self-test, and then it will look into the iOS, whether it is working fine or no. Okay, so if the LED is green, it means normal system operating system. Everything is working normal. If the green light is blinking, it means some activity is going on. So as you can see, the system is starting up, power cycling, and loading system software including BIOS and operating system. Okay, so everything is normal up to this point. But if you see this sys LED goes into the amber state, which is not good. Okay, system receiving power, but there is an error condition. So if you will see amber color in your router stay for longer time of period, you need to ship it back. Okay, if it was a new router. Okay, so what things you could check? You could check some power on self test, maybe some um, di- hardware issues, or even could have some operating system issues as well. Okay, maybe incompatibility, something kind of that. Or if sys LED is off, it means your system is totally off. On other hand, we have ACT, which stand for system activity. So, okay, so there kind of some activity is going on. For that, system activity LED indicates state of the router CPU. So CPU stand for what? Central Processing Unit. So it means some kind of processing is going on. So, so activity has to do with these three LEDs, which green blinking, the router CPU is operating normally. If it's green solid, then it means the router CPU is not operating or is not operating normally. Okay, so green solid. So keep it in mind. Okay, and off means the router CPU is not working, so it is powered off. And this is the back of the router. And as you can see, unlike the switches, it does not have so many things going on at the back of the router. And most of the routers, you will see these common things. Okay, so what these things are like, these are the input power connections. Okay, just to power on your router. Then, unlike the switch, router has switch on and switch off capability. Okay, because the switch does not have switch on or switch off capability, but the router does have. Okay, so if you want to switch off, just switch off from here. Okay, then we have some another new capabilities like power over Ethernet. So we can use power over Ethernet um, in the routers as well. Okay, so instead of using these powers, we can use directly power over Ethernet as well. Then we have, very common ports like in switches, we have these yellow kind of labels. If you will see yellow labels, it means it has to do with Ethernet cables. Could be fast Ethernet, could be gigabit Ethernet. As you can see, this is GE0/1. Okay, and this is GE0/0. So this is module or slot, and this is port number. Similarly, on this here, we you can see we have, if I can show you with my pen, here we have these yellow ports, which indicates what? Ethernet ports. Okay. Then we have this mm, baby blue color port here as well. And what is mentioned? This is RJ45 console. Okay, so we can plug our laptop, and then there will be a USB port. Then you can access the console or the the brain of this device using either PuTTY, Teraterm, Telnet, whatever the application you want to use. Okay. Then we have some other capabilities like Flash. Okay. uh, and USB console here as well. So if you want to insert flash drive, flash disk basically, okay, you can insert. And we have already talked about what flash drive or disk is used in router or switches. Then you can see these two slots are not being used, but if you want, you can use. So that is why this is called modular hardware. Means you can bring two VIC cards as it is mentioned. This is wide WAN, wide area network interface cards. Okay, so it has two slots. If you want, you can just unscrew these gun and can slide into those VIC cards for your serial connection. Okay, and this is pretty much it is. Okay. Okay, so in the next slide, I'm talking about all router products that Cisco currently is using. Okay, so this is very latest slide from 2024. So as you can see, routers, when we talk about Cisco routers, uh, Cisco basically use multiple routers in the production environment. For example, the branch routers. Okay, so branch means let's first start from the small network. As you can see, we have small business routers. Usually 800, 900 series are comes into this business routers, small business router. And then we have branch router, which comes under even small to medium enterprises. Okay. Then we have industrial routers and gateways, and we have service provider. These are called ASR routers. Okay. And even these as well. Then you know that now these days we are pretty much into the virtual environment. So they also came up with the idea of virtual routers as well. Then they have aggregation routers that also called ASR routers. Then we have wireless WAN routers, cloud edge routers, and network function virtualization and service provider core routers as well. So these kind of routers are being used in internet service providers. Okay, so in the next slide, I will be talking about ASR and ISR. Okay, so I talked about small business routers. So like we have 800 series, we have 900 series service routers, sorry. And this is how it will be look like. Okay, these will be small in size and will have even very less capabilities as compared to the other routers. So like these are the branch routers. They are like 5000 series, 4900, then 8200, 8200, 8300. Okay, so like this one, maybe this is 8200 series. Then we have industrial routers, and you can see these are kind of rigid, means their hardware is like rock solid because they are being used in industries. So that is why they are much more harder as compared to these devices. Okay, so for example, these are like Catalyst IR 1100 rugged series routers. Okay, so Cisco has a variety of the products being used into different environment. So if we talk about the ISR router, integrated service routers, back in the old days, if we used to purchase a router could only have routing capabilities. Okay, so like for example, they don't have kind of video enhanced capability. They don't have quality of service capabilities. Even they don't have wireless capabilities. Okay, they don't have like voice over IP capabilities. But these days, router, whenever you are going to purchase a router, most of the routers they all come up with these all kind of solutions. Okay, for example, this is small office teleworker 800 series, 1800 series. Then we have a branch office series like 2800 and 3800 series, and then we have head office or wide area network aggregation kind of ISR routers like 7600 series, Catalyst 6500 series, and as you can see we have these kind of routers. So they have like multiple multi soup, it is called multi supervisor engines. Then they have some plug and play modular framework as well. Then they have multi-router, sorry, RPC, redundant power supplies capabilities as well. It has a good back plane, forward plane, okay, control plane, basically I'm talking about, and data plane as well. Okay, so they are much more powerful routers as compared to the old age routers. Okay, then on other hand, we have ASR routers like Cisco ISR series, 7200 series, ASR series 1000 series, 7600 series, and then ASR 9000 series. So you can see 200 gigabits per second carrier. Okay, the bandwidth basically, and this is 40 gigabits per second. So it has like voice over IP, it has video capability, broadband capability, like these Cisco ASR having the IPsec capability. Okay, and they have the firewalls as well, distributed PE, provider edge, basically route reflectors. When you will come into the BGP section in a higher study or advanced study, there you will understand what route reflectors are. Okay, so I have put some paragraph here as well, like ASR series. What are these routers? Enterprise and service providers, whereas the ISR series are small or medium size of network. Since the ISR series are for less computing intensive environment, they have much smaller footprint than ASR routers. So it means ASR have much more capabilities as compared to the uh, ISR series. Okay. So ISR integrated service provider. So acronym IP stand for Internet Protocol. So this is irrelevant. Sorry. Okay. So this is the term integrated service describes the type of network architecture used to guarantee network quality of service QoS. Then ISR series routers have edge network capabilities and provide reliable, secure branch offers connectivity. Okay, so this is from small to medium kind of organizations. Then we have aggregation services. So as the name suggests, aggregation. So if I give you high level overview, in service provider we have MPLS network, and this MPLS network usually connected with what? Of course, service provider is giving service to who? Of course, to the clients. It could have thousands and thousands of clients are connected directly. to service provider. So these routers are called customer edge CE, whereas the MPLS in term of MPLS, the service provider is having the routers inside its service provider. These are called PE routers, provider edge routers. Okay, so this is where we have these ASR routers as being used because as the name suggests, aggregation, it means it is going to aggregate thousand and thousand of services into this routers. So this is only two routers, but we could have like thousand routers connected directly to this ASR routers. So it is going to collect these all services. So that is why we should have some high-end devices being used in service provider are called ASR routers. Okay, so these devices combine traffic link at greater speed to support the growing need of for remote access to internal network and external network like the internet and clouds. Okay, so this is a need of ASR. So not only a service provider, but it has a large kind of the organization also using ASR routers. Then we have modular, and I have already talked about what modular routers look like or the switches. They have this kind of capabilities. You can just pull this or unscrew this panel and just slide into VIC cards or NIC cards or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and even the voice over IP as well, which is called VIC VIC card. Okay, WAN card called wide area interface cards. Okay, so VIC cards also, uh, if this router or switch have the capability of voice over IP, you can insert those VIC cards into these slots, okay, to enable voice over IP. So I hope you get the idea about ASR, ISR routers. Okay, so with that, our this short video comes to end, and thank you for your